Hold on, my child. Watch your step, my father would say enthusiastically to me. Think before you do. The more you think first, the more abundant your life will be. That was the best blessing words of my father. To this day, I follow those words every day. But oh, mind you, I still feel often with daily temptations devouring me. But I steer away as much as I can, as the day that I did not forget and haunts me still says upon to me. Remember the day when my great father's vessel burst out one day. Temptation made him to use quick makeup instead of cleansing his body. Temptation that drove him to a fruitless life instead of a fruitful one, yet devoured by nothingness. His soul was still there, speaking to me on his last minutes of life. Oh, I wish I was a robot where I could always follow my words and do not fall prey of temptation. But robot am I not, but robot I wish I was. My father was a proud nuclear engineer, graduated from different countries, caliber second to none. He worked in many senior and chief executive positions within dozens of nuclear engineer locations across the world, obtained fortune more than he could imagine, owning Boardwalk and Park Place. One day his vessel burst out, but he didn't notice. He thought today was still as yesterday. He didn't think first and instead moved first. He got greedy. He lost his ethics. He was driven by impulse. The law didn't multiply him, and instead he invested in nothingness. He lost all that he attained. Fast forward today, and I am here holding still the blessed words of my Father. It is words that I share to you because they blessed me instead of cursed me. Think before you do. Anybody can do what they already do, but few think what they already do. The more I followed those words, the more it saved me from everyday disasters that were coming miles away, where others could do but not think that their actions that do not hurt now will hurt them later. I lived in places that were abundant and places that were not abundant by nature. Regardless of nature, to think before you do is always correct no matter what. For as those who think they don't do much, they think they have thought of everything for they did not. For as those who think rightly, they will not concede or be arrogant for escaping their own thinking. For as those who think rightly, they will think of what they have not thought, instead of thinking how to escape their thoughts to places that were not abundant. People have no choice but to follow our divinity, the rule of the law. However, many followed laws to keep what they already was not abundant, instead of expanding the world to be abundant. Foolish as they be, for they followed how to keep what they already had, instead follow the divinity and integrity of our society. The herd that followed them, the next generation to be, they were living on a course far less than they ought to be. Only cattle that was blind could follow such master, cattle that likes to waste the abundance of the world inefficiently, cattle that do not think, but only do, because although their master rightly thought of the divine rules of the law, cleansed the master was with arrogance to his word that was not abundant, to keep it for himself until he died. As those people that they don't think for the great good of society are sick, founded only on their property. But I tell you, fear not for what you already have done, as God has mercy on you, for laws cannot be followed, but only learned. And one day let shall cross our path, where I teach you to me, and you teach to me, for that is the real kingdom of God. As for today I say to you, think before you do. Two places that were abundant. People are lucky and have the choice not to live life with divinity, but deluded they indeed are, as their abundance is just an illusion, as although indeed all great things in life come to an end, and they only start to come over again once we do great things again. Fear not, for I tell you, you do not have to follow that vicious cycle for as long as you do great things eternally, eternally you will receive the fruits of Eden. In worlds that are abundant, you see two groups, one that creates democracy and another that colonizes. Countries that are colonized suffer and don't remain colonized forever, while countries with democracy multiply the growth of prosperity by sheer numbers. Note the difference between a man with no divinity and a man with divinity, the one that beholds hero title of itself. Note that there are great men that colonized huge empires that do not exist anymore, but few heroes that took nothing yet changed million minds of the world. No matter the results, democracy always wins, even in worlds that today are still abundant. In abundant corporations, although the surface story seems that all departments or teams triumphantly share the same pie, that does not happen. Because for some people, they do not expand that divinity, instead waste that divinity on less fruitful stuff. They don't share a blessing, they share a curse. A curse that will make the corporation less abundant instead to be more abundant to the world. I experienced a department that had a lot of blessings from people that had divinity within themselves. However, a clash of ideologies erupted to those who had the blessing and those who had not. On the one side, the blessed people could not follow their faith. Their religion of amplifying the divinity of our world was not practiced. They were not cared of what they thought. Nobody could listen. On the other side, the people who were not blessed were sensitive to their sensitivities. They wanted to follow their past world without divinity, a past world that was starting to collide now despite its sheer abundance. Most of the best people left for that department to share the great word of God, because it was the duty to do so, and now I'm all left alone to see its misery. A department that was run the same as others is now at its pity compared to other departments that followed the right divinity. Oh, might you, who teach those children to become only men, but no heroes? For there is many men who can be conceited and arrogant, but few heroes who care the collective level of the world. For the people who are just men, but no heroes, I tell you, God gave you the opportunity to act rightly, and you may never meet the same fate again to own such power. How everlasting your kingdom will last is between you transcending to be a hero or still keeping the arrogance and conceit of a man. It is between losing your old kingdom and your old past and creating a new one that is more fit for the world. But oh, might you didn't think, but you only do. Like a politician doing what they already do. And the more you do what you already do, the more miles away you are from the audience believing you are just a hero instead of an enemy man. Oh, mind you, I feel pity why you had the arrogance and conceit from your past world. But I tell you, fear not for what you already have done, as God has mercy on you. For laws cannot be followed, but only learned. And one day let us cross a path where I teach you to me and you teach to me, for that is the real kingdom of God. As for today, I say to you, think before you do.